As a photographer, you can buy almost any type of bag to suit any amount of gear for any type of adventure. The options are almost endless. But I've got this bag here. This is a Lowepro PhotoSport 70 litre all-weather Mark III backpack. Now, does this bag, does it stand out in the crowd and offer something unique, or does it just blend in to the rest of the bags that you can get out there? Well, that's what I'm going to find out in this video, and I'm going to do it in the real world by taking you on an adventure to Dartmoor. We're going to capture some landscape photographs, and I'm going to tell you all about this bag. So what can you expect in this video? Well, I'm here in Dartmoor. I'm a landscape photographer. I'm going to take landscape photographs. It's what I do. So even if you maybe don't have a particular interest in the bag, there should be something in this video for you. But I will, of course, be talking about the bag. I'm going to tell you about some of the specifications and features. I'm going to tell you what I've got in the bag at the moment, how much stuff I can get in there. I'll tell you some of the things that I like about the bag, and perhaps some of the things that I don't like so much, and then try and give you a sort of final summary. Now, photography wise, or location wise, you say, like I said, I'm on Dartmoor. I've walked about 3 kilometers so far. I've just come through Bellstone. I did stop and take a picture, but say not to do much video there because I've done loads of videos and blogs from Bellstone, so I don't want to bore you again with telling you all about that location, but I will share the picture with you. But I'm going to carry on walking that direction, which is up towards Oke Tor, and then we'll see what other locations, see how far we get into Dartmoor, and we'll see what pictures we can capture along the way. Right, it's a bit of a walk. Let's make a start. Welcome to Oke Tor. Let's have a look about, see if I can find a composition. Right, I think I found a composition. Let me quickly talk you through it. So in the foreground, I've got these lovely rocks here, which make lots of shapes and lines that lead out to the kind of 3 rock stacks that are just there. And then you've got these beautiful lines across them. And then they also create a leading line pointing out to the rest of Oke Tor, and then that leads out back along Dartmoor there, up towards the back end of Bellstone there. A couple of issues with it though, that's the only thing. There's a lot of cattle about at the moment, so they're gonna perhaps, well actually they're just moving on, so maybe I'll take another shot and they might not be included. But more than that, it's probably the light. The light's coming and going at the moment. It's not the best time of day, but I think this is a nice composition. It's one I'm gonna remember, because it's something that I'm gonna have to come back to. Okay, before we go any further, just let me tell you that Lowepro reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to review this bag. So they have sent this bag out to me. However, they are not paying me to make this video. They're not getting any sort of forward visibility of this video. So when you see it, that's the first time that they see it, and they've not asked me to say anything either. So any of the thoughts I share about this bag in this video are my own. It was actually really good timing by Lowepro to reach out to me and ask me if I wanted to review this bag. I don't know if you've watched one of my recent videos, you might have seen that I've just taken up wild camping. Actually, in that wild camping video, it was this bag that I used to carry all my stuff up onto Dartmoor. So because I've just taken up camping, I was in the market actually for a bigger bag, something a bit more adventurous that I could take a lot more gear with me, both sort of camping, personal items and photography gear as well. So it was a really good time, and if they'd asked me a couple of weeks before, I probably would have said no. So I have actually been using this bag, like I say, on a couple of adventures, including that wild camping adventure. So I'm really excited to be sharing my thoughts with you about this bag. Right, let's go. Steeperton's that way. Well, just look at that view. Isn't it absolutely fantastic? It's always well worth the walk to come out and get a view like that. And it's at this point in Dartmoor that I really start to feel the remoteness. This is where I feel like I'm really sort of escaping civilization, because with views like that, you've got nothing but hills and clouds. It's just brilliant. But I've got a Steeperton torch just over there, just to my left. It's not far away now, but I think I might use this opportunity now to share with you some of the features and specifications of this bag. The bag I have is the 70-litre bag, but there is also a 55-litre bag as well. You can check out all the specifications and the features on the Lowepro website, where you'll find information about both the 70 and the 55-litre. This 70-litre though, it measures 41 by 36 by 80 centimetres, and it weighs approximately 3.2 kilograms, including the aluminium frame that's inside. The exterior is made from 100% recycled 420D nylon, and overall it's about 85% recycled. The gearbox inside, which is like your internal camera unit, measures 31.5 by 16 by 22.5 centimeters. That's about 8 liters. I'll talk more about the gearbox later on though. It's got Lowepro's active lift harness system with torso length adjustment. There's lots of different sizing options as well, including 2 different sizes of harness. If you want to know more about that, there's actually a very good video on the Lowepro website that walks you through all of that before you buy, so do check that out. It also comes with a rain cover, which I've already used this evening, and which is also big enough so it covers a tripod as well if you've got it on the outside. It's got 2 large water pockets either side. Like I said, one of them I use for a tripod. It's got a large overflow pocket at the front as well for stuffing handy things like raincoats. And it's got a sleeping bag compartment at the bottom. Right, that's all the specifications and features out the way. When I get up to Steeperton Tor, I'll take all the stuff out the bag, show you a bit more about how it hangs together and more about that gearbox, so I can show you how much camera gear I've got in there as well, and we'll capture some landscape photographs. So I've got to go that way because I've got to cross a river. Oh, I do hate this bit. It's steep there where the river crossing is, and it's steep and it gets steeper again after that. Never mind, it'll all be worth it. Welcome to Steeperton Tor. What a walk, but what a view. Well worth it. Right, I've come to the less windy side of Steeperton Tor to tell you what's in my bag. This is to give a kind of demonstration of what this bag can hold. So first of all, if I take this, I can take this top compartment off, like so. So this little compartment there, it's got my personal items in it. At the moment, it's just got some hand wash and some a head torch and a few tools, a few snacks and stuff like that. As I said, it comes with a strap, which I'll show you later, and you can kind of use this as a carry-on bag, but I would keep this in my tent, so I've got handy access to my essential items. That's that. Right, yes, in the front bit here, I've got this stash pouch here. This is where you would keep things you want to get hold of quickly. So this would be things like my raincoat, which I've used already, the rain cover as well, anything else you might just want to stuff in there and get easy access to. Main compartment, big wide open main compartment, food, snacks, got to have snacks, drink, got a couple of wet bags there, I was going to use them, got a jumper, what else have I got? Spare pair of socks, sleeping mat, what else? Oh. Tent. Now you may be asking, Julian, why have you got a tent? Why have you got all your tent stuff with you? Well, my original plan was actually to come out wild camping, but the weather forecast during the night is not going to be great, so I've decided to ditch that plan. But I thought, what better way to show you how big the bag is by just dragging all my stuff out here. I did weigh my bag before I left the car. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I put it on the bottom screen, so this is what I've been lugging about for the last, how many kilometres? 6.5. So yeah, tent pegs. What else have I got in here? Tent poles, tent pegs. We've got the compartments at the side here, got water in this one. I would have the tripod in that one. Down at the bottom here, if I open this up, I'm not going to bother taking it out, but there's my sleeping bags in there. So it's quite a handy sleeping bag compartment. And then there's the magic bit of this bag. If I open it at the front, and you can do this from the back, depending on which way you want to do it, you've got the internal camera unit, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. So as you can see, quite a lot of stuff. Okay, let's talk about the unique feature of this bag, and that is the fact that it's got its own internal camera unit. They call it a gearbox. Now, one of the great things about the design for this particular gearbox, and I will get it out in a second, is if you have it facing up this way, you can get access to your gear that way. So you don't have to come in through the top. You don't have to get all your stuff out. You can just unzip it here. I'll show you that. Got nice big zip holders. So you can zip it like that, and you can come around the back. Or if you turn it around and face it the other way, you can have it access around the back as well, if you want. So you can access it both sides. That's a really cool feature. Right, if I flip it back over, I've got it configured for front access at the moment. Get that open. Now, it's actually clipped in, so it doesn't move about, so I can unclip it. Get the clips there. That holds it in nice and firmly. Now, you can take it out like that. But then, this is where this carry handle that I was talking about, you could attach to the lid, but I've got it attached to the camera bag. So like that. Now, where this is really useful, you've got a wild camp, you've got your tent, so you get your tent up, you've got your main bag in the tent, you want to go out and take some pictures, you don't want to take the whole rucksack, you just take this, you've got a mini camera bag on the go. Now, I'll admit, when I first saw this gearbox, I was dubious about how much gear I could get in there. I thought, that's tiny. No way I'm going to get all my cameras in there. But you'd be surprised. So what have I got in here? I have got my Nikon Z7 with a 24 to 120. 14 to 30, never leave home without it. What else have I got? Spare microphone in case my wireless ones go a bit iffy. I've got some lens caps there. In here, in these little side compartments, is the Nikon ZFC, which I'm filming on just now, and my Viltrox 13mm for the Nikon ZFC was in there as well, plus all my wireless mics. And at the top end, I've got some filters and stuff, and I've got spare batteries and memory cards. So I've got all that went inside this gearbox. It looks small, but it is surprising what you can fit in there. And you can fit in there things like digital SLRs and 7200s. It gives you an idea on the website, all the gear you can get in there. So you can get quite a lot of gear in there. It's easily accessible through the front or the rear pouch. So in all, it's pretty versatile. Okay, just before I tell you about some of the things I like about this bag, I'm just going to take another quick photo. Well, I was, because the sun was out, and now it's gone behind a big bank of cloud again, because it was casting some really nice light along this scene here. Got this row of rocks, and this is what really interests me about Dartmoor, is picking out the shapes and patterns from these rocks to help create leading lines, and that's what this has got in abundance here. As it flows off over to the military hut there, can't really escape that. I will try shooting that way in a minute though. And that leads out, and they've got this dappled light as it kind of dances across the hills there. So hopefully the sun will pop back out again and I'll grab this shot. Okay, things that I like about this bag. First of all, and probably one of the most important things is I find it very comfortable. So as shown earlier, I put quite a lot of weight in this bag, and yet it's still comfortable on long walks. I've been up some mountains in the Brecons Beacons with it, on all-day walks, taking lots of video and camera stills gear with me. No problems there. And as I mentioned earlier, it came on my first wild camping trip with me as well, so I had all my camping gear with it as well. So I've not had any issues there. But like any good backpack, you really need to set it up properly, because this one's got quite a lot of adjustments, particularly around the harness, all the straps, compression straps, waist belt. But Lowepro got a video on their website that takes you through the entire process of how to set it up properly. So if you do get one of these, it's definitely well worth spending a little bit of time setting it up right. One of the other great things I like about this bag is, of course, its internal camera unit, its gearbox, because this is what makes this a photo backpack rather than just a general adventure backpack. So things I like about it, you can obviously access it from the front or you can access it from the rear without having to get all your stuff out. That's a major advantage because you could be walking along, you want to get the camera out, just unzip it. You don't have to get all the stuff out from the top or dig about and find your camera. So that's really useful. And the gearbox itself, like I said, surprisingly large, so I can get a lot of stuff in there. I've got 2 camera bodies in there at the moment. And then when I do want to take it out, like when I'm wild camping, I want to leave the bag in the tent, just stick that strap on it, over my shoulder, out with the tripod, and away you go. Very versatile, and that's one of the unique selling points about this bag. Other nifty things I like as well, some of these compression straps, particularly this one at the side where you put your tripod. Normally compression straps, you know, after a bit of time, the tripod weight, they can work themselves loose. These ones have got little clips on them, so you clip them in, you can clip that tripod nice and tight. I really like that a lot. What else? Oh, the big zip holes as well. So not just zippers, but they've got big holes in them where they've got some plastic around them. So what it means is you can get your finger really into them. So if you're wearing gloves in the winter, you're not trying to fiddle about trying to get the zips, you can get your finger right in there and open that up. Also, the material is kind of weatherproof, but Lowepro, not being very tight, I've taken the sensible approach of actually including a rainproof cover. What's the point in having an outdoor adventure bag if then you have to buy a rain cover on top of it? I've already used it today, so that's been useful that it knows that it comes with the bag. But obviously the thing I like about it most is its size, its carrying capacity. I can carry all the camera gear. I've got all the camera gear I needed to do a video and take stills, and all my camping gear tonight, and it's comfortable. So it ticks the boxes, it does what I need it to do, which is to allow me to go on wild camping adventures overnight, take camera gear. Happy days. No bag is perfect, and this one is no exception. So I do have a couple of niggles. So first of all, I really would like to have seen one of those little keychain things that you can hook your keys into, those little black tabs. I don't know what they're called, but all they are, my previous bags have had them. So I put them in the bag, clip them onto the black latch, and I know they're there. I know they're not going to move, and I'm not going to lose them. I wish it would have that. I also wish they'd make better use of the strap area and the waist belt area as well. I'd like to see like a mobile phone pocket here, perhaps, or even down here. So I know you can attach stuff here, and they do give you this little thing here that you can attach, but it's not that big. So I think some perhaps bigger straps, which these do come in different strap sizes, but I would like to see more utilization of these areas. The other thing is there's a bit of a weak point on one of the straps around the front of the bag there. I happened to be just moving it from one spot to another, so I lifted the bag up, and it caused a couple of threads to pop, which is a bit unfortunate. Now, that is my fault. I probably shouldn't have been lifting it from there, but you know, I was only moving it from one spot to another, so that was a bit annoying. But there are stronger carry handles in the back, and obviously you've got the straps here. Now, the one final thing, now Lowepro were obviously kind enough to send me this bag, so I haven't paid for it, but it is a bag that costs just over £450. That's a pretty significant investment, even for a decent camera bag. Let's see if I can wrap up this review. So, do I like the bag? Yes, I like the bag a lot. It's really useful. It's got a good size on it. So 70 litres allows me to carry both my video gear and my stills gear. I can go on long walks, or I can go on wild camping adventures, or I can pack it full of stuff for a day in the hills. So it just allows me to carry a lot of stuff, and because it's got those photo-centric features such as the gearbox and the ability to access that through the front or through the rear of the bag, makes it really useful from that perspective. As someone who is a content creator, I need to have access to my gear, so having to get through the top and chuck all the stuff out to get into carry, no good for me. So from a photo perspective and a weight carrying and an adventure bag, yeah, it ticks all the boxes for me. But there's always a but. I have to go back to the cost. The cost is an expensive bag, I think just over 450 quid. So it begs the question, is it worth the money? And okay, I was given this bag, but would I go out and spend my own money? Would I spend 450 quid on the bag? So the thing you've got to look at is this is a photo-centric bag. It's designed in a way to make people like myself, like content creators, give them easy access and safe storage of their gear. But you could say, oh, I could go out and buy something like an Osprey backpack, for example, of a similar size, and I could just have had an ICU. I could stick the ICU in it, get my camera gear, and it'd be a lot cheaper. Yeah, that might well be true, and I think it's going to largely depend on, do you want an adventure bag that you can carry some camera gear that you might use every now and again, or do you want a camera bag that allows you to access your gear and go on adventures? So this bag, while more expensive than something like an Osprey, for example, which is a bag that I used to have with an ICU, it's obviously those camera specific features. It's the ability to access your gearbox from the front or from the rear. So when you're deciding about whether this bag is worth that money, you've got to weigh up those options. How important is it for you to get easy access to your gear? So I think in terms of sort of size and comfort and construction, it's all there, but there's definitely a price premium. But that's the things that you're going to have to consider. Do I want a adventure bag where I might want to access some camera gear every now and again, or do I want a photo bag that's also suitable for going on multi-day adventures? Well, I think the sun is making an early departure. I'm not sure I'm going to get any more light, so it might be time for me to go home, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame though, because I don't feel I've managed to get some photographs that I'll be really happy with. But I have thoroughly enjoyed being out in Dartmoor. I mean, if anything, I've been on a long walk to one of my favourite viewpoints, and it's fantastic, and I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me and learning about this bag. I think it is a bag worth giving some serious consideration, and I hope the information in this video will help shape any sort of decision you have about purchasing this bag. But if you've got any questions or anything like that, just leave them in the comments below. But if you've got any questions in general, please leave them below. I do love reading and replying to everyone's questions. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, give it a share. It really helps with the channel as well. And if you've got some extra time as well, I come up to Dartmoor all the time, so I'll pop up some playlists, both for some of the gear that I use and for the photography adventure videos that I make on Dartmoor. So do check some of those out as well. But until the next one, it's goodbye from Dartmoor.